Let's begin today's Vanguard news with the hype for Liael Odium's abilities and supports in DZBT05, which will then be out-hyped by tonight's Nintendo Direct. Dear Quetzal of Sweeping Distance is your typical D-series starter which would have looked cool in Chronojet, but they are stuck using the plushie instead. Steam Maiden Tiglatt when riding over a grade 0 unit lets you reveal a grade 3 Liael card in your ride deck to put a Destined Timepiece token into your order zone. Fun fact, this is the third Steam Maiden in the D series, because Bushiroad Road is afraid of breaking them in premium if they made more. And if this card reminds you of Maiden Dragon, that's because she is, but with a restriction cost and no extra draw. Destined Timepiece is a set order token. While in the order zone, you cannot ride an on Liael grade 3 or higher card and you can have regress gauges. This is totally not Chronojet Dragon's crest card that prevents you from riding any other grade 3. And this card gives you a new resource to manage like Impuldio. This seems to have become a trend that I won't be surprised if Aurora Battle Princess finally gets a grade 1 ride unit that creates a prison set order token in the future. Life Cessation Colossus when riding over Steam Maiden Tiglatt lets you put a card in hand to your regress gauge to draw 2 cards. Just when I thought I could stop comparing Liael Odium's cards, this card is just a Dorfus, but with the cost becoming a gauge and no penalty. Destined one of time Liael Odium, while on Vanguard during your turn, gives all your front row rear guards 5k power for each distorted Bane in your regress gauge. While on Vanguard, you can pay 1 Soul Blast when she attacks to put a card on rear guard or hand into your regress gauge face up. Then she gets triple drive if you put a card with this ability. And once per match while on Vanguard, you can pay 2 discards at the end of the battle she attacked and have 5 or more regress gauges to get an additional turn. But that turn will reduce this card's drive check by 1 and you cannot perform your item main phase. Just when you thought Liael Odium isn't beating the Chronojet clone allegations, her first ability is very similar to every Stride deck's crest card power increase, but excludes the Vanguard. Then there's gaining triple drive like a G unit, which lets your opponent use the original Elementaria Sanctitude for free. As for her additional turn, being a discount Mystery Flare Dragon, take note that 1 less drive check will be carried over to when she gets triple drive. Meaning that you would only perform 2 drive checks with Liael Odium on your additional turn despite still having the triple drive effect. Distorted Bane is a normal order card that can only be played if you have a Liael Vanguard. When played, you can soul charge 1 card then put this card in your regress gauge face up. And when this card is put in your regress gauge, draw a card and your Vanguard gets 10k power. Seeing as this card is somewhat required to use Liael Odium effectively, expect Avarice Rester to suddenly double in price once the card scalpers card vendors learns that the cover waifu card needs it. This card also has good synergy with Orines, that she may become the next Teethfelt. Ablaze Chimera when placed on rear guard lets you pay 1 counter blast if you have a grade 3 or higher Liael Vanguard to call up to 1 grade 3 or lower card from the top 5 cards of your deck. The artwork says Pale Moon, but the ability says Gold Paladin. The 2 clans that basically made up Gear Chronicles back in the day, very fitting for this card. Steam Burner Ammi when placed on rear guard or in your regress gauge during your turn, gives one of your units 5k power. This is one of those cards that's to focus on the deck's gimmick and nothing else. Not worth running at that point. Almanac Colossus when placed on rear guard lets you pay 1 counter blast if you have a regress gauge to draw a card and soul charge 1 card. And while on rear guard, it gets the boost ability if you have 3 or more regress gauges. Professor Kronos called, he wants his ancient gear golem back. Its skill is basic yet effective. And seeing as Liael Odium doesn't seem to have gotten a 15k booster, this will have to suffice for now. Anachronous Dragon while in the gauge zone lets you pay 1 counter blast at the beginning of your battle phase if it's a regress gauge to put a card in your drop zone as a regress gauge. Then call itself to rear guard if you put a card with this ability. And while on rear guard, it gets 5k power when it attacks a Vanguard while you have a grade 3 or higher Liael Vanguard. Then you can pay 2 energy if you have 3 or more regress gauges to retire an opponent's rear guard. The first ability is what I expected Bushiroad to give Impuldio due to their brand gate bias. The second ability is practically a bonus on top of a bonus, since retiring an opponent's rear guard is probably the last thing you need to do. Better use those energy for Tizca instead. Finally, here's Liael Odium's secret rare, which actually looks like a circuit board with the colors despite being steampunk inspired. But let's be real, what we are actually waiting for is a clamp illustrated ESR. Of course Hickory will get one for Liael Odium. It would be a crime if she doesn't. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments how Liael Odium is just a worst Chronojet deck, but you're still building her.